Welcome to Oink Time Pod. I'm Jen Carnovale.
I'm Ben Ellwood.
If you like our podcast, you can, of course,
follow us on Twitter, guys, at Oink Time Pod. Please like the Facebook page and please like and review the podcast. It helps get it out to all the other oinkers that haven't heard it yet.
Yes, all the little bitty oinkers. You can follow us on Twitter and contact us at Oink Time Pod if you so wish. We need to, of course, thank our wonderful producer, Sean Allen. And we also need to thank Young Henry's Brewery for sponsoring us with the alcohols for our guests.
And today's guest is the fabulous Adam Richard. Adam Richard.
Yay!
Stop.
All right. It is your chance, Adam, to put your hand into the hat and pick out a word.
Pick out a word, Adam. So we're going to riff on...
This is I love how you've just really dressed this up by laminating it, putting in an actual hat.
I know, it's so sad.
For the listeners at home, it's some paper smeared on the tabletop.
Oh, I forgot the hat. All right. I forgot the hat.
And the word is...
Food.
Oh, food.
Oh.
I have many thoughts on food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good thought. Oh, sorry.
Is there anything you'd like to articulate about food?
Be clearer, Benny.
The word under discussion is food. Food.
Exciting when all your mates love you, but you don't get booked for big rooms when you're only a middle bracketer. So yeah, I went and got a job in a pub just to listen to how people talk and what they talk about and what other people are interested in.
Yeah.
People who aren't spending all day getting stoned and going and doing gigs.
Yeah, to socialise with people outside of that.
Because you would. You just turn up to a gig you weren't booked at because it's free beer.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
In the old days, not that they do that anymore.
No, not really. Not as much.
One drink token and you get a midi.
Oh, yeah. No, we used to Melbourne, we used to just rock up to anything. There'd be 30 comedians at a gig where there was only 6 people on there, only 40 people in the room.
Yeah.
And we would drink the place dry.
Are you noticing that there's a turn away
so
from the... And I'm not saying that it should be as degenerate as it was, but there was a real... The comedy did for a long time feel like kind of a meeting place for weirdos and freaks and people to be free in expressing themselves. And it definitely feels like comedy has become another branch of entertainment.
Yeah. That happened. I think that, the kids who grew up with, Rove and Will... and Husey and Hellier. They're all the people I started with, and we all used to get trashed. Yeah. But because they had such a direct line between doing stand-up to being on TV or radio or whatever, people just see that as a career path now.
Yeah, it's a pathway.
Yeah, so it's well... I don't want to jeopardize my career, so I'm not going to get drunk. I'm not going to be on drugs. I'm just going to do my job, do my 6 gigs, and not be very funny, but be very attractive.
Sellable.
It's insufferable.
Then I'll be on radio, which is, weird because who's looking at the radio?
No, but we were saying this before. There is this weird hiring policy at radio stations and TV stations that everyone from the gopher to the receptionist to the camera people are just painfully beautiful.
Yeah.
And also the runners, the people that don't trust with a hire car, they will be your boss one day.
Yeah.
They will be an executive producer. You turn up weren't you in charge of getting coffee last summer?
Yeah, but I'm really fucking beautiful.
Welcome to my studio.
I had one that worked on that show that we worked on together. Who was a producer who rejected so many of my questions for the most spurious reasons.
Why?
And I think, because I told a story about him being on the other end of a double-ended dildo on one of my podcasts. But anyway.
We're recording right now, right?
You should have listened to one of my podcasts.
And what, you think that there was some kind of vendetta where it was I'm rejecting your fucking work?
It was weird. He rejected all of my work, spuriously. I'm This is very strange.
Yeah, it's a bit much to be like, I don't like anything.
There is something to be said for having the day job because, there was a large stretch in the middle of comedy where I was like, I'm a comedian. I refuse to participate in society.
Yeah.
And I was never crazier. So
Yeah, because you're obsessing about doing 10 minutes or 40 minutes
And
in your entire day.
Yeah. Well,
Do you remember when you did 5 minutes and you would have like a 7-hour routine to do your 5 minutes? Because if you got one on the weekend, you'd be like, oh, I've got all day.
Yeah, to sit around and head fuck myself about this thing.
I'm going to have a bath, then I'm going to do a mask, and I'm going to do Pilates.
I've got to feel ready.
I have a friend who would take the day off from work if he had a 4-minute open mic spot that night because he needed to get ready. And I had to say to him at one point, I was like, no offense, bro, but I don't think that you're built for this. If you have to take the day off to do, to psych yourself up to do 4 minutes, that's
the mental exhaustion as well. That is far more exhausting than just doing a friggin' day of work.
Yeah,
waking up going, well, I have 8 hours, so if I eat at this time, that over-calculating is just so draining.
I've started getting to a point because I used to spend large swathes of time doing nothing and really enjoying it. Back when I, could play video games without feeling guilty and that kind of stuff.
For days on end.
Yeah, and just feel great doing it. I'm watching The Matrix for the 10th time today.
Yeah.
You fucking stoned cunt. Whereas now, there's nights I get home at 7 or 8 and it's theoretically there's only 3 or 4 more hours left before it's time to go to bed. And a deep set panic will kick in where I'm like, what am I going to do? But
really?
What am I going to do with all this time?
I never have that.
I never have that.
Because
I never fucking have that.
I think it's the flip side to how I used to live my life, where now it's you need to fucking do stuff
You're
to make
making
up
up
for lost time. Yeah.
I definitely don't have that.
I've had a full-time job for the first time in who knows how long, for this entire year. I had 2 weeks off. I've just finished 2 weeks off and I started back work on Wednesday, and it's been bizarre. I didn't know what this was like. I forgot.
Yeah, no, agreed.
And I try to do gigs, and once upon a time I used to do brekkie radio, which is a full-time job, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do gigs at 10 o'clock at night because I'm good. I'm a headliner. Go on last. Which is I don't I try and do that now, and I'm I'm dying. I'm dying inside. On stage, not dying, doing well. But after the gig,
you've got nothing left.
I want to murder somebody.
It's fucking weird. I'm working in an office for the first time in years.
It's weird.
It's fucking weird. And you forget how much of being in that environment is performative. How much you have to, and I think that's the other good thing, beyond just the, not having hours and hours of nothing all day.
Yes.
Just having to act like a civilized person for 8 hours a day is actually very good for my mental health.
Oh, it's weird.
Having to strap that. What is it not, not being in a position where I'm surrounded by people that I know really well, where I can be fuck this shit, I'm fucking over it. Yeah. Having to be what you're talking about is fascinating. It's really good.
Tell me more about your weekend.
Yeah. Even though there's sirens in my head,
dying
fuck this. But it's, it's good. It's, I still maintain when I used to, after many years of not working, getting a call center job for a very famous liquor company and basically being an online drug dealer for a liquor merchant was maybe one of the best things I've ever done for myself psychologically, because it was, forcing myself back into the world.
I think there's a good middle ground. Sometimes when I've been working, I've been more motivated to gig at night because I'm all right, save some money from that. Now I can do the thing I've been looking forward to, and I have more energy for the gig. But there's the other side where, like you were saying before, where you're just so fucking tired. It's just oh, I'm so tired and I'm comfortable and it's cold. When you were saying you get anxious about the idea of nothing. I'm so into that. I'm so into the nothing.
Is the comfortable thing, is that... Now, this is something I'm fascinated with.
Yeah.
Female comics, more than male comics, cancel gigs.
Oh, really?
On the day. No, I'm not coming in.
I would.
I can't do it. And it's and there's always complaints there's no women on the bill. It's yes, she wouldn't leave the house. Maybe it's a Melbourne thing because it's freaking cold there.
I would never cancel unless I've been sick. And that's only because I used to rock up when I was sick and people would be like, you're fucking making us all sick. Can you go home? You grot. But I would never cancel for a reason of comfort. Yeah. When we lived in the UK.
I do.
Ben will.
No, seriously. I cancel fucking at the drop of a hat.
Ben will all the time. No, when we lived in the UK, I remember it being like 4 degrees and being like, all right, I got to go across London to a place I don't know to perform for 4 minutes. And I would fucking do it. Like, that's mental. Like, I would never do that now. But I mean, I have a car. I live close to everything. It was that I wanted to do it that much and I had the energy to.
Also, London, it's exciting.
And it's exciting and it was really fun.
There's heaps of gigs there.
Is it exciting? I've had a depressive...
but...
I had a gig in London. My first gig in London, I fucking ran away like 2 minutes before they called my name. Like I had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, but you can have a nervous breakdown about anything.
It wasn't my first gig. It was my second gig. The first gig. Have I fucking told you about my first gig in London?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh my God.
He values my friendship.
So we went. Oh, Adam, it was the worst. We went to London.
Just skated over
If I paused every time she insulted me,
in my lounge room at the time in what was going to be a tent. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was going to buy a tent and live in camp in her lounge room for 2 years.
That was our long-term plan. We thought that was okay. We'll save money because Ben will pay. And I think we discussed what if he wants to wank, and it was like he can use the bathroom. We talked about that.
I would have put sheets around this tent so my reflection wouldn't have come through the tent. No.
We were light on in the tent. Just do it in the dark.
No, the fucking glow of the computer screen. What do you want from me?
We wouldn't be able to be.
We don't have an imagination,
dude. I'm a fucking millennial. There's no imagination. Doesn't exist in my generation.
Can you believe we
destroyed us?
We actually talked about that. Our group of friends.
What? What if Ben wants to wank?
No, Ben living in a tent in the lounge room, and what if he wants to wank or have a woman over?
Having a woman over would have been rough.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine me picking up? Oh, yeah, come back to my place. We've got to squat in a tent in the lounge room while everyone's watching TV.
And in London, the lounge room's like the size of a cupboard.
This was an expansive lounge room.
Yeah,
but it was kind of like,
made it worse because it was a nice apartment.
Well, and also the kitchen was in the lounge room, so it would have been foul, me farting in my tent while you guys are cooking breakfast.
Man, I can't believe I thought that was fine. There's something wrong with me, I think.
We were all deranged.
We weren't that young. We were like 26, 27.
No, I just turned 30. I turned 30.
You turned 30. I was 26.
You should know better.
No,
30 is officially the age where you can say, I'm old enough to know
I was living
better.
in a fucking bedsit in fucking Hampshire with this crazed blackjack dealer.
I'm not saying you did know better. I'm saying you should have known better.
I was so fucked up. I was demented. This blackjack dealer.
That was a demented house and experience, that whole period. And then Nick's son would come to our house every now and then and go, hey guys, I think I want to cook you guys dinner. And then use...
Had he been dumpster diving? Don't eat that.
No, it was even better. He would use all of our ingredients, and then have the Nikki effect where, without fail, break an item of the house. And then go, I hope you guys like the food, and then leave. And we'd be like, we don't even want this. There would be like no fucking food left. Yeah.
It was a depressing time.
So is that how we got into dumpster diving? It was like people started to twig that he comes over and cooks all their food and he's like, I've got nothing left but the bin.
Actually, that is likely. That is really likely.
Me and him used to go to Burke Street Bakery and dumpster dive after they closed. And one time we found this entire garbage bag full of sandwiches and we were so proud. We went to the Sly Fox comedy and we were handing out sandwiches to everyone. And everyone's like, you guys are so generous.
From the bin.
It was unbelievable. It was like you couldn't have timed it better. Someone goes, wait, Nick's on stage talking about it, and someone goes, wait, where did all these sandwiches come from? And he goes, the bin. And on cue, you just hear, and this person goes, there's a bit of glass in my sandwich.
There's a reason they were in the bin.
It's so fucking disgusting.
But we were demented in London.
We were demented.
Because Adam, we all went over there with that, it was like the last gasp of when we could go with that youth visa.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We'd all
I did that when I was 19.
We all waited.
That's our biggest problem in fucking comedy in general, is that we always waited years beyond the point of where we should have acted.
We're all just too insecure little babes to think we could do anything.
Yes. And so we went over there and it was like that real kind of like, we hit this kind of whatever, momentum in Sydney. Great time to leave.
So great time to quit our radio jobs and fuck off to have Ben live in a tent in our lounge room.
And so we went over there.
Quit our possible TV pilots and fuck right off to the UK.
I like imagining this is what Badrin's doing right now.
He's got towns in the lounge room occasionally.
It's brutal, man. And so
it was fun. It was fun.
I did not have fun.
I had fun. You had a mental breakdown and then came back to Sydney.
Yeah,
you could be having surrounded by people having a good time, and you still would not have a good time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I've got to check that.
It follows you around. Have you seen that cloud above your head?
Fuck you. Have you ever seen that movie It Follows? Have you seen that horror movie It Follows?
Watch a horror movie. I'm 47.
Oh, all right. Fuck you. Doctor Who. Fuck you. I'm so excited about the new season of Doctor Who. Why would I watch a horror movie? Fuck off. Yeah, no, I know. I have an oppressive personality. I know.
You carry a heavy weight.
It was like it's that disparity between dreams and reality. So we went to London thinking like, oh, this is great. We're just going to slide into a fucking marked out spot on QI or something.
Yeah.
And the reality of it was, I was literally living with an insane blackjack dealer. He would bang on my door at 2 in the morning and demand that I come into his apartment so I could watch figure skating videos. Oh. And if I wasn't appreciating them enough, he'd pause the video and stare at me and go, "You are not appreciating the beauty of this," and rewind it and make me watch it again. It's like, it's 2 a.m. I'm doped up on Jamaican hash. I don't know what's going on.
I used to work with a former figure skater when I was in England, when I was like 20.
Figure skating over there.
Like I worked at Haagen-Dazs, the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
You at Haagen-Dazs. No thanks.
I lost weight at Haagen-Dazs. I went on an ice cream and popcorn diet. There was a Haagen-Dazs concession inside a 10-screen multiplex in a town called Basingstoke. Basingstoke, mate.
God.
And the guy next door in the pick and mix. So I was the Haagen-Dazs queen and he was the pick and mix princess.
And together you found love.
Yeah, ice queen and the pick and mix princess. But no, I had a boyfriend. This guy, he was a former figure skater. Like he used to skate with Disney on Ice.
Really?
And I used to have to watch the videos for that.
Who did he play?
It's just this quiet torture of figure skating.
Figure skating is beautiful.
No doubt.
It's because it's so cold in Britain. They're like, we want to watch something that looks like fun when you're cold.
Yeah. How do we make this enjoyable?
It's brutal.
Like, did you ever have the thing, you know how the ground would freeze?
Yeah.
I used to have, because I worked in Reading, which was the next train station over. So I had to go to the train station in the morning and I was at the top of a hill. So I would stand at the top of the hill and just slide down to the train station.
I left just before winter kicked in.
Oh, did you not do I did 18 months there.
No, man. I lasted 5 months.
We did 2 years and 3 months, which is what you could legally do. And Benny left after 3 months.
I left for love.
I mean, if only you'd stayed, that cartoon that you spent 12 hours a day drawing with our friend Eric, you guys could have really made it.
Yeah,
do you remember that?
Oh, I remember.
I got a job and I was paying fucking rent and they were not.
Mooching
We'd get high and draw a comic strip about a space traveling dog.
And they both spent the whole day.
Gave birth to trains out of his penis.
Oh, but Jen, look at the pages of what Rufferus did today. You're not looking at it. I was like, I'm looking at it. You need to fucking get a job.
I lost.
Then both of them were like, "No, it's going to be really easy for us to get a job." And I was like, "No, not in London."
I applied for a job at that comic book store, that famous London comic book store,
Forbidden Planet.
And when they didn't give me the job, I was outraged.
And then you moved back to Australia.
I know who Grant Morrison is, and they're not going to give me a job. I was brutalised and demoralised by London. London crushed my soul.
Also, let's be honest, you had a girlfriend back in Sydney, and you were excited to go back to that. It was more that than you being brutalised. You're brutalised here. What's the difference?
No, it was different.
You're brutalised like at the shops.
No, it was different. This was different. This was different.
It's always different in Ellwood.
It's exactly the same.
I'm persecuted, specifically me, only. The first ever gig I did in London. So me and Eric did a split Edinburgh show called The Best of the Shittest. And on the very last day, the guy that runs the Comedy Caf in London came to the show. And for anyone that doesn't know, that's like, it's not as big as the Comedy Store, but if you can get in with those guys, it's, it's
a good gig.
It's a way of your star ascending.
Yeah.
And after the show, they came up to me and Eric and they're like, "You guys are fucking brilliant. Please come and do the Comedy Cafe. All you need to do is smash once and we'll put you on our books and we'll start building a career for you." So it's like,
and you'll get paid.
I haven't even arrived in London. I haven't even landed in London and my career is set. So this date gets put down. I arrive at the gig and of course I do not do well with pressure. I don't do well with fucking anything. So I'm already having a nervous breakdown.
Oh my God.
And I get to the gig and all of a sudden everyone's just like, all these comics come to me and go, "Oh, you're that big celebrity from Australia. You're the one that's on TV shows and stuff." And I'm like, and I know the truth of what's going on. I'm like, I'm not like this at all. I had one clip. It was from Stand Up Australia. I still had hair and hope in my eyes, as opposed to this person that I'm not at all anymore. So I get up on, and like the manager of the comedy cafe, he's coming up to me going like, oh, you're the one. It's going to be great. I get up. I die the most awful death you could ever die. Like just horrendous. I get off the stage. The manager of the comedy cafe comes up to me and goes, thanks for fucking up my night, mate. Nah, just kidding. And then proceeds to buy a shot for every single person.
Not Benny.
But he buys a shot for everyone on stage except me, and then turns his back on me, and they're all like slapping each other on the back. And I got to put my fucking raincoat back on and go back out into the London street, and I'm like crying, going, I got a woman back in Sydney. Everything's back there. What am I doing here?
You had our lounge room to come back to.
Yeah, you had a tent.
You guys
planned.
were lovely.
You guys
did lovely things for me on my 30th birthday. Remember that Indian feast you got me?
I bought you an Indian feast.
And you had no money.
And I didn't realise it was for like 20 people. So we just ate it between the four of us, me, Benny, Eric, and a friend, Madeline. That was good. Made you a cake and you cried in it, remember?
You cried in the cake.
I've got a photo of him and it's
sad piece of
Benny's
shit.
30th and he's going...
It was true.
Have you ever thought of maybe just topping yourself?
Fuck you! How dare you?
Have you thought of putting us out of your misery?
Look, life's too short to kill yourself. It'll all be over before we know it anyway, right?
But you're making it longer for us. Do a favour for your friends.
I exist to make you feel better about the time when you're not around me. Fuck you.
Oh my God.
No, I was going to say, have you thought of like doing like maybe some meditation or something?
We talked about this the other day. I was
because I worry about you.
He does
Do you actually?
occasionally.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you're always angry at nothing.
Yeah, I know.
It's his comfort state. We debate this. He's at his most comfortable
It's true.
when someone has wronged him and he has a justified reason to feel rage.
It's true.
Yeah.
It could be anything. It could be someone at the coffee shop
It's true.
looking at you in a way that you feel is offensive when in fact they have a lazy eye. And you will then brew
Do you want to know how fucked I am?
and be enraged. I know
No,
how
do you want,
fucked
this
you
is how
are.
fucked I am. I was helping a guy.
we're aware.
He was a...
I feel like we've met.
I was helping a guy, a paraplegic, the other day, load wheelchairs into a van, and after about a minute of it, I got the shits that he was bossing me around too much, and he's sitting there unable to lose his leg.
Whoa,
And he's like,
Benny.
no, move that out, and then turn it around. And like my brain is like, this guy's fucking bossing me around. Who the fuck is he? Like you're helping a fucking guy that can't use his legs load a wheelchair.
I'm
But
worried
it's
that
that
you're
sense
never
of
going to have
injustice.
joy.
I have massive amounts of joy. We talked about this previously where I think it's easy because the rage and the anxiety is very upfront.
Yes.
It's easy for people who don't spend a lot of time with me to not see that there is an inverse to that.
Right.
And the inverse is as passionate.
It's as extreme. It's
as
manic.
extreme. It's manic.
Right.
Yeah. So when I'm blissed out, it's like, this will never end. And I'm crying at sunsets and the old lady holding hands with her husband.
You
it's
are
like,
tedious.
yeah, it's
It's
tedious.
exhausting.
Dude, it's like fucking living in here.
It's full
I
on.
used to, I've done a lot of work and it's all.
What
I'm
work?
fine now.
No, you're not fine. Fuck you.
I am more than fine.
Fine
mean,
in contrast to what you were.
Comparatively to Benny, you seem very
look.
fine.
Yeah, but you've got like 10 years on me as well.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of therapy. And
How much work are we talking? Like a decade? Like if he starts now?
Fuck you.
Well, I would have started. 35.
You got more than a
36?
decade to go, Benny.
Yeah. So yeah, about 10
What
years.
was the catalyst? What made you?
It was a lot of things. It's like when I stopped drinking, like it was like a bunch of different things happened. So I was having like constant panic attacks, and then I started having panic attacks about the fact I might have a panic attack.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I know that
Like
one.
this
Anxiety that
horrendous-
you're not anxious.
Yeah. Like
Loop.
this horrendous thing. Like it got to the point where I couldn't go to the shops. So I'd been living with my sister for about 10 years, and I moved in with a boyfriend. And like 25 Ks out of the city, like in the burbs.
Isolated.
Past where the trams end. And I did not have my driver's license. So yeah, I was a bit stressed about that. And we had done this promotion at the radio station that I was working at where we lived in a display home for a week. and people could just come and look at us living there.
Wow, that's...
Which was, mostly fine because, I'm on 24/7, Tony. Mama's always on. And like one day I didn't even notice, like I walked from the bedroom I was sleeping in across, there was a pool outside. I just walked past the pool area and into the kitchen, and Joe Stanley, who I was doing the show with, was eating biscuits in a cupboard. I went, why are you in the cupboard? And she went, and like turned around and there's all these school kids there and I'm standing there at like 130 kilos in my underpants.
Oh, Lord.
Like, oh yeah, hey kids.
That's such a strange experiment.
It was really weird. And so it was after that. So, and I was learning to drive and that's quite stressful and so it was a whole bunch of stuff.
And
so
you're a bit isolated because you're further out.
Yeah. So feeling a little bit. And also, I think the main reason was getting up for work at 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
You have sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation causes buildup of cortisol, which is it's the fear enzyme.
I'm prone to like anxiety and depression and things. I keep, like we were laughing about before, how much I do to keep on top of it. But if I don't sleep, it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's almost immediately not okay.
Yeah.
It starts in the morning with like feeling a bit of a rush.
Yeah.
And
so this is, I was in the middle. It was probably my 5th year of doing radio.
Yeah.
So I did 10 years of 4 a.m. alarms.
whoa. That's a lot.
So in the middle of like my 5th, 6th year, I was like going crazy. And knowing that it was the cortisol, knowing that like what was happening was doing gigs until midnight and then sleeping for 4 hours and then going to work and then sleeping in the afternoon, like that was making me crazy. Just did a lot of therapy. Had an actual psychiatrist who was formerly a neurosurgeon.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, well, I want to be able to fix these before I have to stick knives in them. So, she was great. And because it was on Medicare. No, because so I got an actual referral from my doctor because I'd done a few kind of psychologists and stuff and the work one, and it was hadn't really gone anywhere. So I went to this woman and she was amazing. And after about 5 months of doing it weekly, so it costs I was about $120 out of pocket every week for the first few months. But then after like April, May, it was like $11.
Oh, wow.
For the rest of the year, $11 a week to get like a $500 a session psychiatrist. It was amazing. Right. So I did that for like 4 or 5 years.
Were you medicated, if you don't mind me asking?
I tried, and this is how I stopped drinking. Like, because when I was drinking a lot and, eating terrible food, I had fatty liver. So, I mean, it meant I was really, like, I didn't have to spend much money on cocaine because, like, my liver just passes everything through. So I tried taking one antidepressant tablet in, I think it was in my 2nd year when I was just in a really low point. I'd lost a job in Perth. Like I had like 4 jobs. I'd lost one of my radio jobs and I was like, feeling depressed. So I took this one tablet and was manic.
Really?
Like insane, like vacuuming and dancing. I was like, oh my God, this is better than ecstasy. And I rang my doctor. I was like, is this what it's meant to be like? I love it. And she's like, do not take a second one. Because they build up.
Oh my God.
So and I was worried that I was going to crash out from that really badly. So I decided not to drink because that's the other thing, hangovers, like the anxiety. Yeah. When you've got a hangover and you're like, what did I do last night? Like I still feel like that, but I remember what I did.
Are you completely straight edge now? Like, do you have nothing?
I have a glass of champagne maybe once every 5 or 6 months.
And is there a part of you that has that like, let's get fucked up?
I did, but it's gone away. Like it's like I did this food diary thing trying to stop eating bad food where you examine like when you eat something, you write down, I wanted a bag of chips. And it's like, why did I want a bag of chips? Because I wanted to be a fat fuck. Whatever it is.
No, but it is that. Yeah.
And with the same with like when I was going to take a fortnight off. So once I got through that pill getting out of my system, I was like, I might have a glass of champagne, and then had the thought of like, why do I want a glass of champagne? I'm like, because I want to be at a gay bar at 4 o'clock in the morning, sucking someone off in the toilets. That is not a good reason.
Some might say it's a great reason.
Not when your alarm goes off at 4 and then you've got to be at work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was
Bathroom
just like,
cocksucking is for weekends only.
yeah, weekends only, and the 10 weeks holiday we got a year. So yeah, it was like, okay, maybe that's not a good reason to have a glass of champagne. So it was like, then why do I want a beer? Because I want to be off my face. That's not a good reason to have a beer. So
is that something that the shrink taught you, or was that some self-discipline?
that was for food. Like I just weirdly myself
connected it to other things.
Connected it to
See,
alcohol.
I think food is a big, because I've had these ongoing gut problems for years, and
Oh yeah.
my that's actually the very first conversation we ever had, you and I.
You could probably say that about a lot of people.
No, but it was the first conversation I had where someone didn't recoil in horror and went, "Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about." I bleed out of my asshole all the time.
Tears all the time. Blood flowing everywhere. Like when he told me his therapy about
you were actually the person that encouraged me to talk about it on stage.
Oh yeah, was that night.
That was that night. I'd never talked about it on stage, and I was like, "You have to talk about this on stage." I was like, "No one will fucking go into it."
You got a whole show out of it.
You got a whole fucking show out of it.
Because it was just that one line of like, but to my doctor, are you telling me to go fuck myself? I was like, that is a perfect encapsulation.
That's literally what it was. It was unfucking believable.
And that's why my doctor's never told me to do that, because he knows it's happening.
Oh, exactly. You don't need a medical grade dilator. You've got one fucking attached to the guy in your bed. So I think, but the problem, I think a lot of my issues come from food that sets off certain mental states. So I think I've got to do that food diary thing. But my problem is I'll always pursue these avenues for 3/4 and then be like, oh yeah, it's fine, I got it.
I just did an awesome diet because I went to the doctor and my liver started going, meh, and I thought, it's been fine for 5 years. So I thought, and he goes, look, your first port of call is to lose weight. And I was like, I hate losing weight.
Yeah.
I like eating bad things and sitting sedentary for the whole day.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So I did this diet. He said, go try one of those keto diets. I'm like,
what's keto?
Keto is where you start burning the fat that's on your body because you're having no energy in. So your body starts to burn the fat.
No,
because I'm loaded up with energy. That's one of my favorite stand-up bits is like when people say, if you lost weight, you have more energy. I'm like, fucking fat is energy. It's
covered in batteries.
That's what it is. It's stored energy. Fuck off.
You'll survive the apocalypse. You and me both will.
But yeah, so I talked to my sister who worked in health promotion and she works at the hospital and stuff now. And I said, my doctor wants me to do a keto diet. And she said, I'll try this blood sugar diet, which has cured people who've become type 2 diabetic. It is full on. And, I'm pretty much pre-diabetic. Like I'm on the way. Like my blood sugar started to go up and I'm like, nah. So it's basically 0 carbs, as few carbs as you can possibly manage. Right. The only carbs you get are from vegetables.
Oh, I'd be so depressed.
You think that.
Oh, man, I love
carbs. But it's full fat and heaps of protein. So it is like eggs cooked in butter. Like it is like meat.
I do like eggs cooked in butter.
So it is like full fat yogurt, but only 800 calories a day, which is half of what someone my size should be eating to just to lose weight. But when I was like spending every lunchtime working at Ultimo, eating every single thing in the counter at the German bakery. That would be my lunch. And I would walk home because I'd be like, I'm going to get my 10,000 steps a day. I would walk home and I would get dizzy halfway and I'd have to buy a Snickers just to stop myself from fainting.
Really?
On this diet of 800 calories, never got dizzy walking home from work.
Wow.
Never. Because it was like one of my lunches that I would eat was a tablespoon of peanut butter and 2 tablespoons of cream cheese mixed together and then eat it with carrots. And it was the best. That was my lunch.
But like...
It sounds insane, but I was never hungry.
Yeah.
And if I was hungry, I was just peckish. And the book that you read tells you that when you're peckish, you're burning fat.
Oh, good. I'm always hungry.
Yeah.
You don't need to burn fat.
I'm always hungry. No, but I'm very interested about the effect food has on mood and mental health and energy and all that kind of stuff because I am, as you know, and made fun of me before, trying to always take control so that I don't go off the rails. Yeah. So I'm always looking into that kind of stuff.
The only thing, if you did this diet, you would need to do is stay right on top of your Metamucils because it
dries it out.
Like I've got these I'm making diamonds.
Oh, my God. That sounds so
Like they are tiny nuggets. But thank God for Metamucil because it coats them in Teflon and they shoot out.
Oh, that's exactly the phrase I use. Yeah, they come out like they're covered in Teflon. Yeah. Whenever I tell people to get on Cilia Musk. Yeah. It's incredible. It's got a net of fibre around it. Gelatinous net.
It's the best.
Wonderful. Yeah. No, I know. It just slides right
out of you. Like someone has had 8 babies. Yeah, here we go. I'm giving birth again. But yeah, it's been amazing. I've lost 20 kilos.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Over how long? In 8 weeks. In 8 weeks.
In 8 weeks.
That is huge.
I lost.
That's like more than 2 kilos. That's 2.5 kilos a week.
12 kilos in the first 4 weeks.
Whoa.
Is that healthy?
Apparently.
Whatever.
I'm fine.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, clearly, but if you're feeling
50
better.
kilos overweight, so I've
I
had 20 kilos to lose.
If your energy levels are feeling better and like you said, you're walking home, you're not feeling dizzy, I mean, that's like a pretty good indicator, isn't it? That you're not feeling those annoying side effects.
Because carbs, like, it's sugar, it's white bread,
it's pasta.
rice, pasta. All of that shit. Like, and like I've noticed, like with my boyfriend, so we'll have the same meal, and I'll make either cauliflower rice or zucchini noodles.
Yeah, zoodle.
Zoodles, or I call it zucchini linguine.
That's great. I like zoodles. They're good.
They're delicious. So yeah, like you're having bolognese, like full fat meaty bolognese on top of zucchini instead of pasta. So I'll be full after like maybe 3/4 of a bowl, and Gary will be like, "Oh, is there seconds?" Because he's eating the pasta,
right?
And it's like because you go through a weird sugar crash while you're eating it.
No, I know.
So it's weird to think that I am saying this because I love sugar and I love bread and I can sit and eat a whole loaf of Fruit Loaf. I used to sit on the lounge room floor with a toaster and the butter. And
Sounds like a little bit of heaven.
loaf.
Yeah. One of the lowest moments of my life was eating a whole loaf of raisin bread while watching clips of Ellen DeGeneres dance.
Mine was watching Taylor Dane sing. But anyway, because I'm old.
Taylor Dane.
But yeah, it's I've been amazed at how I don't crave it anymore, and to the point where, like when we were on holidays in Cairns, Gary got an ice cream, and I said, "Oh, give me a taste," and I licked it. I was like, ugh.
If you don't have sugar for a while, it is repellent.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's gross. It's but see, my problem is like I can't separate from short-term gain from long-term consequence.
Yeah.
So like even having this conversation, I'm already in my head going, "Oh, I want." Like a tub of Ben & Jerry's when I get home. Like
Seriously,
it's already
the book. Like if you read the book, it is fascinating. Because you're probably about 10 years away from becoming type 2 diabetic.
No, I know. So I'm 10 years away from a fucking stroke.
Yeah. Like seriously, like it's an amazing book, the 8-week blood sugar diet. It was, I am amazed.
I was counting my calories earlier this year and it was very good. And my whole appetite. But that's the thing.
You swing though.
I swing dramatically.
So sometimes Benny will be like, for lunch, you'll have the most healthy thing. It'll be this delicious salad with chock full of nuts and great stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh man, I got to get on top of that. But then you swing where you'll be like, I ate a bucket of something.
I ate a box full of lint balls for lunch.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Haven't we all? Benny gets so excited if I start binging stuff, because one time there was chocolate around and I was like, oh, I keep craving shit. I just want to eat. And he was like, yeah, welcome. Yeah. I was like, fuck you, Ben.
I don't feel comfortable unless someone's acting as much a degenerate as I am.
Oh, see, I mean, it's like food has been an addiction for me. It's about teaching myself the difference between enjoying what I eat and just eating because I have to have the whole pizza. Like, I have to have it.
Yeah.
Even though I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to throw up.
It's that dog mentality. You know, like, oh, feast or famine. Fuck, I better eat while it's here.
Yes.
I mean, who knows when the next meal's coming over. Like,
and I think we, like comedians, we do that with work as well. We're like, I've got to do all these gigs. I've got to do all of them. Otherwise, I might never get booked again. It's like, I've been doing this for 22 years. I'm not in trouble of not getting booked again.
Yeah. I feel like that all the time. Because when we were talking before about people bailing on gigs,
yeah,
the guilt I feel if I bail on a gig is like mental to the point where I've had Ben make fun of me when I've been like vilely ill.
To be fair, it doesn't take a lot for me to make fun of you.
That's true. But I've been like vilely
I've filled
ill.
in for you before.
Where I'm like, have you? You probably have, yeah.
Yeah, I got a call from Mark David one night going, "Can you do a gig tonight?" And I'm like,
that's
yeah,
right.
I live down the road.
And I felt, I know the gig you're talking about. And I felt so horrible. And I remember saying to him, like, I've got a list. Like, before I even called him to say I couldn't do it, I'd made a list of 4 comics who had said they were free if he needed someone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can contact these people. And he was like, it's all right, Jen. And then, and in my head, I was like, I'm never going to be able to.
Because you were emceeing and, like, that's a hard gig to replace.
Yeah. And in my head, I was like, I'm never going to be able to gig there again. Like, he'll never book me again.
Of course
ever.
not.
Yeah. And then he did.
See, at least you've
but
got...
in my head, I was like, I've ruined it because I'm sick. That's it.
At least you've got legitimate excuses.
Oh, that
because
time I wasn't
always...
sick. I had a family member who was not okay, which was different.
That's illness
but even
of
with
a
that,
kind.
I was like, I just remember being like, I'll never get another gig there, and then he'll tell someone else that, and that's it. Now.
People have
That's
a short
it.
memory.
Yeah.
I've told the same promoter on 2 separate
See,
occasions.
I've never mentioned it to anyone except to now.
Yeah,
It's one of my conditions of agreeing to fill in for someone. It's like, who's the fucking flake? Who pulled out? I'll do it, but you have to tell me who it is.
I hate the guilt I feel because then you meet other people like fucking Benny who like it could take like the idea, like you could say I've got a migraine and he'll be like, oh, Adam has not. Oh, maybe I have a migraine,
no, it's
and
true.
that's it.
It's
and then
true.
he's out.
I'm out.
And I'm like, how do you do it? Like
I've told the same promoter that I've sprained my ankle on 3 separate occasions, forgetting that I've previously made up a sprained ankle.
oh man, I can't.
It's terrible.
I can't say no. I have a problem. Like I cancelled a gig on Mark that's in 3 weeks, and I feel terrible.
Yeah, the guilt.
Because I got a promotion at my job and I have to start a month early.
The guilt is horrible.
What's the point of doing the gig if you're not fucking mentally fit to do the gig?
I one time cancelled.
No, but that's me making excuses.
I
I'm
cancelled
terrible.
a gig on the day when my dad died because my sister was like, "You're insane. You're going to go crazy on stage." I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. I should cancel this.
Yeah.
Shit.
We've just been to the funeral.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think dead dad is a legitimate excuse.
Yeah, I hated him though. I thought I'd be fine.
Well, there's sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I want to hear this.
Oh, no.
Why did you hate your dad?
He's an asshole.
But
Many reasons. Like
right.
Has my chair sunk? I feel like I've gone down.
Maybe.
Yeah. Your status is lowered as you fucking
I'm
expose
Lisa
more of
Wilkinson
yourself.
now. and Jen's Carl.
Hello.
It's a totally visual thing. No one's going to understand.
Sometimes though, comedy is the opposite. Like when I've gone through shitty stuff mentally, I look forward to a gig because I'm like, oh, it's a little mental holiday up there.
Also, the sick thing, like I find that there's a level of sick I can do a gig at.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Showbiz,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
feel fine for the
And the
whole
adrenaline,
gig.
sometimes you feel better afterwards.
Yeah. You feel like you're... but then as soon as that wears off...
Oh, yeah,
it's
you're
like,
sick as shit again.
I've got to get home now.
Yeah.
I've got to get home now because I am going to be very, very ill.
The only time I remember learning to not, I used to push through, and then one time I did a gig one week and I was sick as shit, and I came back the next week and then a comedian was sick who wasn't sick the week before and bitched about how comics shouldn't get up because they were sick.
Infecting the mic.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, that was me. So now I try to feel better and I try to like, but I still have to fucking get my partner to counsel me. Like I'll be like, Chris, I feel like I can't count. And he'll be like, it's fucking like, you're not even headlining tonight. You're not even emceeing. You're just doing like 10, just
doing a 10-minute spot.
It's okay.
Just say no.
I don't know why it's so fucking hard.
I mean, again, the flip side for a girl is like often you're the only one on the bill and it's like, oh, now it's a cock forest and I've made it like that.
Yeah, but
It's
most of the
my
time in
fault.
Sydney, it's all right.
Sydney's not bad. I mean,
Yeah, most of the time it's me and a bunch of other...
Yeah, it's not bad now here in the future, but...
Here in the future.
Yeah, but back
Like
before.
10 years ago, I used to be the girl on the bill.
Oh, it's the best. It's so good. Because when people be like, oh, don't you hate being a girl in comedy? I was like, fuck no. If I didn't book gigs, when we first came home from, when I came home, you were already home from London, I wouldn't need to book shit in advance.
No.
Every day they'd be like, Jen, do you want to come and do this?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fuck yeah. Because they were like, they need a chick who's going to show up and do the most fucked gig possible.
Yeah.
Jen will come.
Yeah.
And I would. And
Jen, will you come and host this gig in front of a pizza bar?
oh, yeah.
Just in process.
There's no
People will be eating
stage.
and
You've got to
talking.
project.
Oh my God, I did that gig.
Yeah, I've done that gig.
Were we at the same one? I emceed that, and that was a...
Was Katie Birch hosting?
No. I emceed when I was there. It was a nightmare.
Do you remember that gig we did in Lambton?
Yeah.
On the pool table?
Oh, and Ben yelled at me because that was the day after I had surgery. Do you remember that?
Gig after surgery?
And I wasn't...
How much was missing?
No, it was actually really bad. I was in a lot of pain and I fucking drove. That was so dumb.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Yeah. And Ben, and I was like on painkillers.
I thought he was an idiot. You're an idiot.
And Ben was like, we got there and it was the worst gig
Oh,
possible.
you have no idea, Adam. It was fucking insane.
It was like racist and angry.
It was unbelievable.
Not worth the money. But you know what?
No, it was worth the money for me. I got like $300.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the money.
I didn't have to drive.
300. See, now this is another problem.
It was not worth the money. I don't care.
When I first started coming to Sydney 16 years ago, no, 20. 97 was my first gig. Anyway, when I first started getting paid for gigs 15 years ago, it was $200 to MC. Now,
now it's significantly
15
less.
years later,
in some rooms it's half of that.
It's $150 in a lot of rooms.
Yes.
Some rooms it's $100.
Some rooms it's $100, yeah.
Like the cost of living has gone up.
I know.
Like I used to be able to pay a month's rent on one night's gig.
Oh no.
Well, I think it's this whole like free economy that we're all living in now where people actually resent paying for anything.
Yeah.
Also, there's just too many people to do it. So if you say no, it doesn't matter.
There's thousands of dickwits that'll
But
do
a gig
it.
like a gig,
and we'll do it for free.
Yeah.
They won't even do it for a cheaper fee. They'll do it for free.
Yeah, absolutely, for the experience, for the honour of fucking...
For stage time. I've got to get more stage time.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Like,
but that's across the board. I was doing I think I told you about this a while ago. For a while I was doing a bit about how you can ethically steal from any company that has self-service checkouts. Because A, if they're going to make you put your own items through, you're entitled to a discount. And B, if they're rich enough to install a system that openly encourages shoplifting, then they can afford to lose their fucking revenue. I did that bit at the Comedy Lounge one night, and the next day I get this email from this guy going, "Oh, hi Ben, I run an image recognition software company, and I was very interested in the material you were doing last night. I was just wondering if I could buy you lunch." And I'm like, this is a very Orwellian, like, what is an image recognition software company? So I just write back, what is an image recognition software company? And he writes back, we've invented technology that can identify the item that you're scanning through to prevent shoplifting at Coles. I'm like, did you not hear the fucking content of my bit? I'm not your ally. I'm your fucking enemy. And he's like, yeah, we want to use your material as we want to pick your brain about shoplifting to see how we can get around this. And I'm like, cool, what are you offering me? And they're like, lunch?
Yeah, and they used some word as well. They wanted to brainstorm or something with you.
Yeah, we want to brainstorm with you. You know, is a grilled cheese sandwich enough for your fucking idea while we invent $1 billion algorithm that's going to make us rich?
I had people write to me about wanting to rewrite a podcast for something. And I was like, well, I have an agent. Do you mind if I... And then the agent was basically like, yeah, they didn't want to pay you anything.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
And I was like,
man.
and the hours you would have to put in for what they wanted would have been weeks of work. Weeks.
No, but I do think it's that thing when, especially now where everyone wants to be an entertainer or a celebrity or whatever, people are willing to do it.
I took down a TV show the other day because I didn't like the money.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm also a bit over being on TV. But
Oh, please. I'm over being on TV.
I have. Like, I'm really enjoying working behind the scenes, but that's another story. Yeah, like it was a stupid sketch on a show, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I'll do that. And then they came through with the money, and I was like, that doesn't sound like enough. And they're like, everyone's working for that. And I was like, yeah. And if everyone jumped off the cliff, I wasn't going there either. So
Yeah.
Pony up, bitches.
I had a really...
They cancelled the sketch because I wouldn't do it.
If we can't get at them, we don't want anybody.
Seriously.
I had a really dodgy experience once where Lawless actually stepped in, and Julie Lawless, and
I love Julie.
Yeah, she's awesome. But she stepped in and helped me out. Where these people wanted me to do a TV related thing, and they were like, how much would you charge for a 10-minute set? And I was like, Lawless, like the way they're writing it, I don't know what and they basically wanted me to just go, for 10 minutes, well, it's this much a minute. So, it's like however much, $100.
Yeah.
It was all going to be on TV, and it all eventually was, and it was all like a bigger deal, and she got a lot more for it. But it was just the way they went about it was so fucking sneaky, man. If I was tiny bit younger, a bit more naive, and I find it really hard to ask for help from people.
Yeah.
If I'd hesitated a little bit more in reaching out to Lawless, or if she'd not responded the way she did, I would have been fucking ripped off so much, and it's like...
But you must get to that point.
No one have fucking integrity.
But you must get to that point where you value yourself enough to have the audacity to... Like, I went into a contract negotiation this week where I had to basically say, how much I think I'm worth.
Yeah.
And my instinct was to undercut And I was talking to our friend Dan Rath, who's talking about how he's the greatest. And he's saying now he just doesn't give a shit. He goes into contract negotiations just saying the most outrageous amount of money.
That's because I lectured him from Sydney to Newcastle for a shit gig we did. Because he said he does gigs that he doesn't get paid because he gets scared to ask. And the fucking Italian wog in me was like, listen! And I yelled at him for like, and then everyone has come up to me afterwards going, man, Rathy's been real hardball with people paying him. I'm like, good, he should.
Well, I went into, I vicariously got the lesson from you then.
Oh man, I was like, you need to fucking do it.
Seriously, I went into this contract negotiation, I said an outrageous amount of money, and then even flinched. They were just like, yeah. I was like, I could have been doing this all along.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I overquote on things I don't want to do.
That you don't want to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, well, if they were to fork up that ridiculous amount of money, sure.
Has that ever worked?
Yeah, I was on Celebrity Splash.
You don't think I was doing Celebrity Splash?
They wanted any boomba they could get. All the other fatties had said no.
Wait, is that that competitive diving show? Unbelievable. Wow. Fuck. For a second, I thought that was like, remember Man O' Man?
Yes.
I thought that was like a Man O' Man's. But do you remember Man O' Man?
There was a swimming pool in that as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I thought. It was like, was some fucking hot woman pushing you into a swimming pool?
More than one show in the swimming pool. I did Hole in the Wall too.
I don't know what that is.
That was like a polystyrene wall that had a hole in it that came towards you, and you had to make the shape and get through the hole.
Oh, you get pushed in the water.
Get pushed in the water.
Is this when you were like really big?
I was on radio, so I wasn't,
No, I don't mean your celebrity.
Fat.
I'm talking about your fucking body mass index.
Yeah. No, it was me, Jonathan Coleman, and Jordan Raskopoulos on one team.
Did you have any self-consciousness about that?
A little bit. And the other team was Ludi Wiggins, who was my diving trainer on Celebrity Splash, and Shane Crawford and Matt Welsh, like the fittest athletes you've ever seen.
See, I couldn't.
And like the voiceover was just constant fat jokes, like wall-to-wall fat jokes.
And does that penetrate, or is that just kind of?
Well, you don't hear them. Like they're all done in post.
But even still, when you're watching the show back, and
I
you're
didn't watch
your
it back.
Giant fat body in high def 4K.
Oh, and they were so wrapped because there was one point where we all jumped out of the water and were flailing around and spraying water in the air like beached whales.
God.
And, they loved it.
Oh man, because
like the money.
Well, no, because I think
that's a lot of money.
Right?
Yeah, I suppose the money.
It's like, does it upset you? Not when I have my new couch and I'm like flying to Europe.
Not when I'm doing blow from $100 note up someone's ass.
One woman's flight to Europe is another one's blow on an ass.
Also, I was working in radio at the time. I was earning enough money to buy a Barina every month. I didn't even need the money at that point.
Being in my swimwear in front of other humans is one of my biggest fears.
Oh, that's another thing.
It's a big fucking fear for me.
This is another one of my theories about, and one of the reasons I said yes to Celebrity Splash was one of my theories about losing weight is that a lot of fat people, we think we're only fat for now. Like I'm just temporarily fat. Like I wasn't always fat and I won't always be fat. So once you accept that you're fat, you can lose weight. But if you think you're not fat, you don't think you need to lose weight. So if you think, I can't be seen in my bathers, it's because you don't think you're fat. You just think you're temporarily overweight and that it's going to go away.
Were you fat as a teenager and a kid?
No, when I was like maybe 10 to 12, I was a bit porky, but like I was very thin when I was in my teens. I also was taking a lot of speed.
Everyone downplays the weight loss benefits of amphetamines.
And then when I was like 23, I just went from 75 kilos to 100 kilos in about 6 months. And I've been over 100 ever since.
Yeah, right.
And was 140
and
2 months ago.
I was morbidly obese as a teenager. And I wonder if, and that has fully carried over into a weird kind of, I wouldn't say body dysmorphia, but there is like a real...
So you think you're fatter than you actually are?
Yeah. Like to the point where it's like, on my weekdays, I envision myself as this like just shuffling garbage bag full of
those
gelatin.
people with the scabs on their bum that they can't get to.
Yeah. And like the folds of skin where the skin is, worn so thin, it's like bleeds when it moves. Just like, I mean, it's a definite, and I was like that at one point.
Yeah.
That is definitely body dysmorphia.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of that.
You should go to the pool in just your bathers.
In undies, I couldn't do it.
No,
I go in in the summertime.
Boxers.
I can get over it, and I go in board shorts to the beach or whatever. But it's still, But I wonder, like, is that self-consciousness there because I was fat in very kind of like psychically formative years, which then carries on? You said you got really fat in your 20s.
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of body, for want of a better term, body dysmorphia now?
No, because, I've got mirrors. I can see the big old Boomba looking back at me. To the point now where I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, yeah, you have lost weight. Like, that's because it's happened so quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think we need, like, it's a therapy thing. It's like acceptance. Like, if you accept that you're fat, you go, yeah, I'm fat, I accept that.
Yeah.
Then that can be the first step to not being fat.
No, and that's what it was for me.
As opposed to going, oh, look, I'm a little bit overweight at the moment, but it'll go away. It's like it never just goes away.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, it just comes. There's more.
What are your thoughts on like the fat pride movement and that kind of stuff? Like, do you think that's a healthy place to be?
I think that's a healthy place to be to start with. Like, if you go, I'm proud of, being over, like it's if your health is at risk, like you can be overweight and healthy, like, well, not overweight, but you can be big and healthy.
Yeah, some people are just bigger.
Yeah.
But, if you've got fatty liver or like, which I had, or you've got other, like it's pain on your joints, like, your ankles and knees go crazy. So there's, I
think it moves into a dangerous territory when, like I've seen fat activists where, they're promoting this ideology of like, oh no, actually I'm a picture of health. And it's like, well, you just took 3 steps and you can't breathe. Yeah. That's not healthy.
If you can't walk up 4 flights of stairs, then you got a problem.
That's not to say that I endorse fat shaming or anything like that. It's just...
I always, like, I had a friend at school who I used to call fat, and they'd be like, you can't call her fat, she's really, like, just because she's big. I was like, no, she's got a fat attitude. Like,
what's a fat attitude?
You know that, like, oh, can you get me that? Can you bring that to me? Can you, like, it's like you can see the mobility scooter in her future.
Yeah.
Like, that's fat attitude. Like, I've never, like, even though I've been gigantically big, I've always walked everywhere. Like, I would do minimum 10,000 steps a day. The other day I did 20 just without thinking. Like, I walk a lot. I just eat really badly. Yeah. And I'll get the stairs. Like, I have a huge policy of parking as far away as possible so I can walk all the way to the shops. Just tiny little bits of exercise.
And the
not going
difference
to the
is
gym, obviously. I don't want to do that.
I've never been inside a gym in
between you
my life.
and another person with a different metabolism is that you put on weight and they don't. Because we had a friend who in London had a fatty liver, remember? And he was skinny as a stick.
Yeah,
Really?
but that means his organs are covered in fat, which is
Bad.
deadly.
Yeah, really dangerous.
At least mine's just sitting around my stomach.
He had a fatty liver, and he would have been about 27. I want to say.
Wow, that's way too.
But
early
he
for
presented as like a very petite guy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, walking has definitely been my... Like, I've never had a driver's license, and people give me shit for that. But there's a part of me that's almost like, man...
I was a 37-year-old P plater.
Well, I just feel like if I had a car, I'd be the guy that drives to the service station to get the ice cream. It's like, dude, like, just fucking...
Also,
at least walk.
You would
Also
not be okay driving a car, I feel like.
No.
I don't...
Like, it's fine after a year, but that first year of... Because when it takes a year or more to get into your procedural memory where you can do it without thinking
Dude,
about
I yell at people when Jen's driving.
I love driving.
I love it now, but that first
he's...
year was horrible.
Yeah, and I've never had an accident. And I shouldn't say that, knock on wood, but when he's in my car, he's like freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's just freaking out about other people.
But everything.
You know when you're driving on the Harbour Bridge and there's no dividing line between the oncoming traffic and you're basically relying on other people's survival instincts not to plow into you head on. I couldn't deal with
I had a comic fucking crap on about that when I was driving home from Newcastle. 4 comedians, half of them were asleep. I was so fucking tired. I turned the aircon on and the shithead in the passenger seat kept turning it off, going, I'm cold. And I was like, I'm driving. And then the one in the back keeps leaning his head in going, don't you think it's amazing that people are allowed to drive these things that are essentially killing machines? Like, don't you think someone could just drive? We could all be dead. Like, you could just drive this into anything. And
You could get the train.
I know. In my head, I was like, I have to get these shitheads out of my fucking car. Oh, man. It was rough.
Yeah, I would have left them in Newcastle.
Oh, I don't even know what I was fucking thinking. I'm not that nice anymore. Can I have a lift?
I owe so many lifts. I will drive anyone anywhere.
Oh.
Like, just call me. If you need a lift, I'll come and get you.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So
Well, I
it's just
only drive
a
my
free
car, like,
on-demand
once a
Uber
month.
driver.
The only reason I drove today is because I forgot it was daylight saving.
And it was raining.
And it was like 12:15. I'm like, it'd take me an hour to walk there.
I was going to send you a
I'm gonna be
message
late.
about daylight savings, but I thought it would be condescending.
Yeah,
I
no.
figured by the time 1 o'clock
Yeah,
rolled
but
around.
tell
I knew
him.
about it. and
Our
I knew
producer
about
had
it.
to send us a message because we both didn't know about it. So there's nothing wrong if you didn't know about it.
My phone did it, but then my watch didn't. I kept looking at my watch. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I've got ages. And then I'm like, oh, no, I've got to drive now.
Our producer last night at 11 o'clock sent us both a message that was really sweet, but the tone was like, don't be fuckheads.
Yeah. Don't make me wake up early and sit around waiting for you, you fucking jerks. Adam, do you have any final thoughts on food or weight loss or anything like that?
Or just anything.
You will never, ever taste anything that is worth having a stroke or a heart attack.
Oh, that is really good.
Easy to say.
That is going to stay with me.
But it's easy to say.
I basically, it's the Kate Moss thing, which is horrible to hear from her, but she always says nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Yeah.
But nothing tastes as good as your
Health?
family being fucking devastated by you not being here.
Yeah, all right. Fucking Mr. Ernest. Jesus
I
Christ.
agree. That's the thing, because that's the only thing that keeps me normal with food and with all that type of shit is nothing tastes as good as me destroying all my relationships.
It's that,
and having people hate me and have me be manic and Ben be like, fuck off, and Chris tell me to leave. And
Also, with your gut issues, the latest scientific thinking is that our gut flora
absolutely.
Oh,
makes our
100%.
brains.
100%.
So if your asshole is saying, this is the wrong food for me to be eating,
Yeah.
if your asshole is yelling at you and your brain is in such a state that there is either a cloud or a fucking sunshine on you, then no in between, then there is something going on with your diet.
I love it because it's so accurate. Your asshole is yelling at you,
Your
Benny.
asshole
My arsehole
is
spitting
yelling.
blood.
Your asshole is so angry at you.
Yes,
It's
you're
furious.
eating
It is
bad,
really.
bad food.
No. I eat very well. It's
No,
not
you
that.
don't.
No, I do.
you're manic.
I eat very well,
You
but then
eat
I
the way
go
you
into
think.
crazy binge
Yeah.
periods
Yeah,
where it's like,
so you're
a
not
pint of
eating
ice
well.
cream every night for a week. The binges are definitely less long than they used to be.
Yeah, but
the thing is,
you're making all the excuses I made.
No, I know, and I'm aware of that. But
You can't drink it.
But that's that thing.
I would get home from a gig and buy a pint of Ben and Jerry's and go, yeah, this will last me a week, and then eat
No,
it.
please,
Oh.
never ask them fucking week. It's,
Yeah, I know,
it
but
lasts
you trick yourself. You
7
lie to
minutes.
yourself. It's addictive behavior. It's the same as people who say, I'm not having too much casual sex. I'm not taking too much cocaine. I'm not drinking
Addict
too much.
behavior.
All those people who say those things have the same problem. And the problem with food is that we need it to live, but we don't need what we eat.
It's also very easy, like that thing that you just said is very true, that nothing tastes as good enough to put your family through losing you or whatever. But conversely, it's very easy to be like, oh, well, it's just this tub of ice cream.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, it's...
Well, it's addict behavior. You
the
can
same as
justify
cigarette
anything.
smoking.
Yeah.
This specific cigarette's not going to give me lung cancer.
I'm just going to play this game of
convenience
Call of
and
Duty
comfort.
for 4 days.
Yeah.
Just this one.
Yeah.
Convenience and comfort are the most amazing things for humans. Hello, I was on the pill for years. I had migraines. I had a doctor tell me, you need to stop it now. Or you'll have a stroke or you'll get sick. It's really dangerous. My mum's had a minor stroke. I still took it. 2 weeks later, I had another really bad migraine. It took me having a migraine for 3 days to fucking stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? I could have stopped it at any point. It's
At any
ridiculous.
point. I know.
Do you know what it is? It was convenient.
Yeah.
And it was there and I didn't even think about it. So it's like the convenience of your brain is just such an amazing thing of going, oh, but you did well at the gig. You should be allowed to go get a gelato or an ice cream.
Of course, I deserve a reward.
You deserve something for doing so well.
I didn't eat chocolate yesterday. I'll eat it today.
Oh, my stomach doesn't feel bad today. It's fine.
No, that's the big one.
It's amazing what we can do.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, this diet has been insane. Like, and the food has been delicious. Like, I have...
We can still eat everything.
As a boomba, like, I love food, but just...
Can you still eat cheese?
Yes!
Yeah, it's fine.
Cheese coming out of the fucking woodwork.
Yeah, but you're only allowed 800 calories a day.
Yeah.
That's not much.
You'd think so.
So that's like a sliver of cheese.
No.
Really?
It was like a big block of cheese.
Oh, fucking wheel of brie, mate.
I would have a lunch that was like, it was called a no-carb ploughman's, like, you know, like a ploughman sandwich.
Yeah.
It was like a handful of walnuts, a big block of cheese, an apple, some celery and some carrot sticks.
Yeah, I'm very happy with all of this.
Some chutney.
Can you eat salami as well?
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Not a lot.
I'm so into it.
Do you not, is there a part of you?
And two slices of ham.
Is there a part of you that misses like the fucking pig out or the binge?
Yeah, but that's the same part of me that misses getting drunk. That's the same part of me that misses being coked out of my head and at a sauna at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Coked at a sauna?
Yeah.
A part of you that's not necessarily
kind of
looking out for the best of you. Did you really not know? What do you think he's like getting anyway.
Yeah, he's having a steam at 4 in the morning.
Having a steam with several other people.
Having a social steam.
Yes, just getting noshed off at 4 a.m.
Noshed off. Yuck. No, I know. But
and it is like any addiction. It's like the pig out is, and also the other thing to do is to start to associate how you feel after you eat something truly horrible. Like, go and eat a Big Mac and then think about how you feel physically after eating a Big Mac. That weird coating inside your mouth where it feels like you can't get any moisture in anymore, and that like weird feeling in your stomach like you've eaten some sort of weird air that is now churning away like crazy, and like it's...
My moods change from it. That's why I'm like so on top of it.
But it was like you were...
And why I've like cut out a lot of drinking and other stuff because there's sugar and stuff in it, and just I'm so sensitive to it. I mean, I still eat what I like within reason, but I'm pretty ultra aware of it. Like it's not like, you know, like anything, like it's just a matter of choices. And, you know, I used to complain to my sister. She's always like, no, you should lose weight. Like, this is like, you know, for the last 30 years, basically. Why don't you lose weight? You're getting too fat, like kind of thing. And I am always like, I'm fine. I do a lot of exercise. And now I'm like, oh, why did I give a shit so much? Like, why did I need to eat a whole cheesecake?
Do you think that... I think
because in the moment it satisfies something in you. It's like, I mean, for me, it's like drinking, and I don't really... at the moment, I'm not drinking at all at gigs, and when I do with my partner, it's sort of a very controlled environment. But, you know, it's like, well, why would you go get drunk and then feel shit the next day because you said a bunch of fuck stuff or you're hungover at work and you want to, you know, you think you've made every single mistake possible.
Actually remember the good time.
Yeah. There's a part of you in that moment that is receiving some reward. For me, I know what it was. I was anxious and it would make me feel less anxious.
It's all serotonin. It's not like it's not real feelings.
I'd feel less anxious. I'd be able to be more social, but then the kickback of that is the next day I'd feel more anxious because I was hungover, and then I'd feel more anxious because I wouldn't remember what I said to people, and then I'd feel more socially fucked because I'd go to a gig and go, I don't know what I said to them last time because I was really drunk. So it's like, it's really fucked up.
It's like you're postponing it. Like, it's like, I'm building it up and building it up with the anxiety. It's the same when when you get a runny nose and you're like, I'm just going to ride it out because I know if I have a decongestant, then I'm going to have like the most motherfucking gigantic ball of snot tomorrow and possibly a sinus infection.
Yeah.
And that, I know that happens if I take a decongestant. Like, if you just ride out the snot, you'll be fine.
But it's not just a reward. It's also punishment. You know, like,
if you're angry with yourself.
Heavy eating is not just about serotonin and, oh, I deserve a reward. It is, I am fat. I deserve to be fat. I deserve to be unlovable. And I'm going to continue to perpetuate this and make myself bigger and bigger and bigger.
But within that, there's a reward system that's at play. Which is, I knew I was a piece of shit. I am right.
Totally.
It's not a good thing for you.
No. You're building a fat suit because you're afraid of intimacy.
Well, see, food.
Oh, this could be another 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'll answer
Seriously
it quickly.
afraid of intimacy.
Yes,
But no,
Benny
but
is
no-
afraid of intimacy.
No, I'm not building a fat suit I lost my fat suit because I wanted intimacy. When I was 19, I realized I was never going to get laid. And so I just lost 40 kilos.
Ran it out.
Ran it out, baby. But, like, I do think there's a lot of all addictive behavior, maybe not across the board, but for me, a lot of the time has been about self-flagellation.
Yeah.
There was one time many, many years ago when I was at my lowest point, I remember pulling a cone out of a fucking hose, carcinogenic plastic, and I could feel the plastic in my throat.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly had this vision of my lungs popping like bubble wrap, and I caught it in my head going, that's right, that's what you deserve, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think so much of that, I mean, when I was a teenager, I used to sit there with a 4-litre tub of Neapolitan ice cream and eat the whole thing going like, yep, you deserve this.
I would eat
You
all
deserve
but
to
the
feel like
chocolate.
shit. Why am I not surprised you went directly for the pink strip, you fuck?
No, you'd think I'd be into the brown.
Oh man. Well, I think that just did it, right?
It's not going to get better than that. That's perfect.
Adam, thank you so much for talking to us
thank
about
you
food.
so much.
I'm happy to come here and talk to you about food.
Do you have anything to plug or anything like to finish up with?
No, my boyfriend's at home.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.